Have you ever wondered why some people's words stick with you long after the conversation ends? Why do certain phrases echo in your mind, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and decisions, while others simply fade away? The secret lies in the power of language, and in this video, we're diving deep into the teachings of Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychiatrist, to reveal how you can use words to leave a lasting imprint on anyone you speak to. You see, words have more power than we often realize. They can either connect us or create distance, inspire us or leave us indifferent. Imagine if you could speak in a way that people not only remember what you said, but feel it deeply in their souls. What if you could communicate in a way that makes you unforgettable, even in a world where everyone is trying to be heard? In this video, you'll learn how to harness the incredible power of archetypes, vulnerability, and emotional authenticity in your conversations. You'll discover why your words can either open hearts or shut them down, and how you can become the person who leaves a lasting emotional mark. By the end, you'll have practical tools to transform every conversation into a powerful, unforgettable experience. Don't miss out. This is your chance to master the art of speaking directly to the heart. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers of all time, once stated that beneath every conscious thought lies a vast, invisible ocean, guiding our every decision. This hidden force he called the collective unconscious. For many, this concept can be hard to grasp, yet it is one of the most revolutionary ideas ever proposed. It explains, in a way that no one else could, why certain words, symbols, and stories have an almost magnetic effect on the human mind, even when we aren't consciously aware of it. It's as though these words tap into something far deeper than intellect. They touch the oldest and most primal emotions we carry within, emotions we may not even fully understand ourselves. When someone speaks to you and uses words that activate these universal symbols, these emotional keys that we all hold in our subconscious, your mind simply cannot ignore them. It's as if these words are more than just sounds or sentences. They speak directly to your soul. This is the essence of what makes a conversation unforgettable. The words aren't merely heard, they are felt in the core of your being. They become etched into your memory, replaying in your thoughts like a powerful echo. Imagine that your words becoming a permanent part of someone else's inner world. Jung believed that the collective unconscious works like an invisible, universal library that every human shares, even if we're unaware of it. And within this library are symbols, deep-rooted, ancient archetypes that trigger profound emotional responses. Think about the sun, the mother, the hero, and darkness. These symbols are not confined to one culture or time period. They transcend language and culture, evoking similar emotions in every human, no matter where they're from or when they lived. These archetypes hold immense power, and when you weave them into your conversations, you're sending messages that don't need to be understood. Through logic, they're remembered, they're felt, and they remain with us. What's truly awe-inspiring is how the human mind, without even realizing it, has been programmed to recognize these symbols long before we had language, before words were ever spoken. Our minds were already attuned to these deep, universal themes. When you begin to understand and use this knowledge, your words transform from mere sentences into powerful, emotional experiences. You stop just having a conversation and instead create a lasting impact. Now, picture yourself in every conversation, not merely sharing information or exchanging pleasantries, but speaking as though your words were pieces of an emotional puzzle, each one carefully chosen to trigger a cascade of memories, emotions, and desires. That's the magic of the collective unconscious at work in our daily lives. You can connect with others on a level that transcends the superficial, invoking feelings of closeness, understanding, and trust. These aren't the conversations that fade away after a few hours. They're the ones that stay with someone forever, because they weren't processed with the mind, they were felt deeply in the soul. But there's an even more potent force behind this process, the tone and intention behind your words. Jung also emphasized that it's not just the words you speak, but the emotional energy that accompanies them. The true power of a sentence isn't just in its meaning, it's in how it's delivered. Your words, when charged with genuine emotion, become unforgettable. They don't just fade into oblivion. Instead, they live on in the listener's mind, replaying over and over, because they're emotionally charged. The unconscious mind doesn't just process information, it processes emotional vibrations. When your message is authentic, emotionally real, the person you're speaking to will feel it on a deep level, often without even realizing why. If you want to become unforgettable, you must understand this. Words are just the surface, the vessel carrying deeper meanings. The true power of words lies in the symbols and images they evoke. When you master this knowledge, you can transform any conversation into an experience that's difficult to forget. Jung famously said that the language of dreams is the same as the language of the soul, and words that resonate at that frequency have the extraordinary ability to leave indelible marks in someone's heart and mind. Get ready, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn not just how to identify these powerful symbols, but how to use them as tools to influence, inspire, and deeply connect with anyone you speak to. This is the language that leaves lasting, positive impressions. This is the language that touches the soul, and once you unlock it, you'll find your conversations are no longer just exchanges, they become transformative experiences that echo in the hearts of those you speak to. Long after the conversation ends, Carl Jung uncovered a profound truth about the human experience, the existence of a hidden, often neglected part of ourselves, known as the shadow. The shadow is composed of the emotions, desires, and thoughts we refuse to acknowledge or actively repress. It lurks beneath the surface of our consciousness, silently shaping our behavior and decisions. And while it may remain hidden for a lifetime, the shadow is always there, waiting for the moment when it can no longer be ignored. Here's the secret. When your words, in a subtle yet empathetic way, touch that shadow, you spark an emotional reaction so intense that the person can never forget you. In those moments, you're not merely addressing their logical mind, you're speaking directly to their deepest, most authentic self. This is the self that lives in quiet despair, buried beneath layers of fear, insecurity, doubt, and loneliness, a self that longs to be understood but rarely finds anyone who truly sees it. When you choose to speak to these repressed parts with compassion and understanding, you form a bond that transcends the superficial. This is how you become unforgettable, by acknowledging what others hide from the world. Whoa, you connect with them on a level that words alone can't explain. People don't form lasting attachments to those who simply flatter or entertain them. They attach to those who understand them in their darkest moments. When you can articulate what someone feels but has never dared to express, you provide them with the comfort of knowing that they're not alone, that their struggles are seen, validated, and accepted. Your presence, then, becomes a refuge in their minds, a safe place where their inner world is acknowledged. These are the conversations that linger. These are the words that echo in the mind long after they are spoken. The art of reflecting the shadow is not about judgment, nor is it about pointing out flaws. It's about embracing the complexity of human imperfection and offering validation in the face of pain and doubt. When you manage to express thoughts that normalize what others often deem as weaknesses, when you speak the unspoken, you help them feel truly seen, understood, and valued. This is where true connection happens. In a world where everyone is desperately trying to present a facade of strength and perfection, the person who dares to speak about vulnerability becomes an emotional magnet. Jung taught that the integration of the shadow is key to personal transformation, and when you help someone begin the journey of facing their shadow, When your words guide them towards self-awareness, you become an integral part of their story, a pivotal chapter in their process of self-discovery. And that's something they will carry with them forever, an imprint in their hearts and minds that can never be erased. Furthermore, when your conversation mirrors the repressed emotions of another person, you create an invisible bond that ties you together in a profound and lasting way. They may not remember every word you said, but they will forever recall how you made them feel accepted, understood, and accompanied in their deepest struggles. This feeling is so powerful that it transforms your words into an emotional anchor that stays with them, firmly embedded in their consciousness. Jung famously said that until we make conscious what lies in our unconscious, it will direct our lives, and we will mistakenly call it fate. If you can open that window of awareness in someone with your words, you will have planted a seed that will continue to grow in their mind every time they think of you. And here's the principle that will forever change how you communicate. Speak, not just to inform, but to touch the hidden parts of the soul, to stir the emotions that are too often left unspoken. When you do that, you won't just be remembered, you'll be felt deeply and unforgettably. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. People forget facts, explanations, and opinions, but they never forget the person who gave them clarity about their own shadow. When you do that, you stop being just a conversationalist. You become someone essential. You become the person who helped them see something within themselves that they had always overlooked or denied. This isn't just about offering advice or telling someone how to think. This is about helping them uncover parts of their soul, parts that have been buried under years of fear, shame, or confusion. And when you do that, your image isn't just remembered, it's etched into their memory with permanent ink. The shadow, as Jung profoundly taught, isn't merely the parts of ourselves that we deny, it is also the greatest hidden treasure within us. It's the raw, untapped potential we often fear to confront. Jung said that within the shadow lies everything we reject about ourselves, out of fear of judgment or social rejection. But it's also the parts of ourselves that hold our untapped talents, passions, and truths, things we've silenced for years, often unknowingly. When you use words that invite someone to accept this duality within themselves, both the light and the darkness, you awaken an inner strength they didn't even know they had. It's in those moments that you become a catalyst for their personal growth, their transformation. And when this happens, your voice becomes an emotional trigger, one that makes the person think about you long after the conversation ends. When you touch someone's shadow, something remarkable occurs. It breaks through the superficial barriers that usually separate people. It's no longer just a conversation, it's a meeting of souls. You're not just sharing words, you're sharing a profound, transformative connection, and that moment is recorded in their mind as something deeply meaningful, something they know they must remember. People don't forget those who help them reconcile with parts of themselves they once avoided or feared. Those words you speak become a constant echo in their minds, a silent companion that follows them even when they're alone. That's the true magic of communicating from the collective unconscious. Imagine the immense power you would possess if you could be the one to offer relief, understanding, and clarity in a world that often prevents people from showing their authentic selves. Words that validate the shadow, words that accept, embrace, and allow are the ones that heal the most. They don't try to correct or change a person. Instead, they accompany them on a journey of self-discovery. And in that accompaniment, you build a connection that cannot be erased by time or circumstance. Jung understood that each time someone acknowledges their shadow, they take one step closer to emotional freedom. And if you are the one to inspire that step with your words, I guarantee you will be unforgettable. In that moment, you will have stopped being just a voice and become a guide, a true beacon in someone's life. When you learn to integrate the shadow into your conversations, you won't just be listened to, you'll be sought out. People will crave your presence, your words, like someone seeking shelter in the midst of an emotional storm, because humans always remember the one who offers them comfort in their darkness, the one who helps them feel seen and heard when the world has told them to hide. That comfort isn't forgotten, replaced, or easily overcome. It lingers, rooted deeply within them. That's how, without realizing it, you become someone who enters their mind and life and stays there far beyond the words you spoke. Carl Jung revealed that behind every rational thought lies a hidden network of symbols and patterns shared by all humans. Archetypes, these universal images, reside in the unconscious mind, silently guiding our emotions, our decisions, and our behaviors. They are the secret, timeless keys to unlocking a deeper connection with others. And once you begin to understand and speak this language, you'll never be forgotten. When you learn to use words that evoke powerful archetypes, you tap into a force that few truly understand. You speak directly to the soul. It doesn't matter the language, culture, or age of the person listening, because their mind is already programmed to respond to these universal symbols. Each word you speak activates ancestral memories, emotions that run deep in our subconscious, emotions that can't be ignored. Even if the listener doesn't fully understand why they feel them, it's as if your words reach beyond mere communication, striking a chord in the deepest, most ancient parts of the human experience. And this is why, when you master the language of archetypes, you become unforgettable. Think about this for a moment. We all automatically recognize symbols like the hero, the mother, the sage, or the explorer, because these archetypes have existed since the dawn of time. Embedded in our collective consciousness, you don't need to explain what a hero is or what a mother represents. Just mentioning the word conjures a flood of emotions and images in the mind. Now, imagine that every time you speak, you use these archetypal images as if they were secret keys, unlocking hidden doors in the listener's mind. Without even realizing it, people will be drawn to you, because your words have touched something far beyond the rational. This is true. Effective communication, the kind that resonates deeply, leaving an imprint in the heart and mind of anyone who hears you. Archetypes don't just activate emotions, they build invisible bridges between you and the listener. When you speak the language of the mentor, the ally, or even the rebel, you awaken in the person an unconscious desire to embody that role in their own life. People don't just listen passively, they project themselves into the stories you tell. This is where your true power lies. When you understand which archetypes to use in each conversation, you guide without imposing, you inspire without forcing, and you make people feel like you truly understand what they're seeking. That connection is so profound that they'll hardly be able to stop thinking about you. Every word you speak, when infused with an archetype, has the power to transport the person into an emotional experience. For instance, when you speak of the hero's journey, the listener's mind naturally activates images of struggle, growth, and triumph. This isn't coincidental. It's rooted in the very biology of our emotions. The human mind is wired to seek meaning in words, and archetypes serve as shortcuts, instantly delivering that meaning. When you activate these universal symbols, your conversation stops being just an exchange of information. It becomes a deeply sensory and emotional experience, one that is etched into memory. Jung famously said that people don't undergo transformation through facts or logical arguments, but through symbols. When you use words that resonate as living symbols, the listener won't just remember what you said, they'll remember how you made them feel. That's the difference between an ordinary conversation and one that truly changes lives. When you connect with the collective unconscious through archetypes, your words aren't just heard, they're felt. They stick in the listener's mind and become a part of their emotional world. And Even when you're not physically present, the most astonishing thing is that once you master the language of archetypes, your words don't need to be perfect. The real power lies not in the specific wording, but in the image those words activate in the listener's mind. This is why ancient stories, myths, and legends have stood the test of time. They speak in the original language of the human soul, the language of deep universal symbols. Your words can become that kind of message, a message that sticks with someone long after the conversation ends. When you learn to evoke the archetypes that reflect universal struggles, dreams, fears, and hopes, you become part of the listener's personal story. Archetypes are not just tools for communication, they are guides to understanding the very essence of the human soul. And when you use those guides in your speech, you don't just help the listener feel heard, you help them feel recognized. This recognition sparks trust, admiration, and a deep emotional connection. This is why great historical figures are remembered not just for their actions, but for the words they used to describe them. When you speak with the power of archetypes, your words become a magnet for the mind and a refuge for the heart, leaving a lasting, irreplaceable mark in the lives of those who hear you. That's the powerful key Carl Jung left for anyone who desires to be remembered long after a conversation ends. Emotions are the hidden engine behind every decision we make. Even when we believe we're being entirely rational, Jung believed that emotion is the true voice of the unconscious, and that every thought imbued with feeling becomes an unforgettable experience. When you speak in a way that evokes deep emotions, you don't just communicate, you form a bond that transcends both time and logic. People may not remember the exact words you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you can reach into their sadness, their hope, or their desire for growth, you will undoubtedly secure a privileged place in their memory and in their life. But the real secret is not in discussing superficial emotions. It's about awakening the deeper, often hidden emotions that a person keeps silent. These are the parts they rarely show the world. The fears, the doubts, the vulnerability they try to suppress. When you gently touch these hidden chords, you create a space of emotional trust so powerful that the listener feels understood on a level they've never experienced before. And that understanding births a connection so deep, it becomes a necessity. Your voice becomes an emotional refuge for them. Your presence becomes an anchor of security in the chaos of their inner world. This is how your words settle deeply into their mind, remaining there like a permanent mark that can't be easily erased. Words that evoke authentic emotions have the power to break any barrier because the human unconscious doesn't differentiate between a real experience and an emotion triggered by a potent conversation. This is why, when you speak from a place of empathy, authenticity, and a genuine desire to reach the other person's soul, your words transcend mere communication. They become living emotions that stay etched in their heart. The stronger that emotion is, the harder it is for the person to stop thinking about you. Jung understood that emotions are the very glue of memory. When you master this understanding, your words transcend forgetfulness. The biggest mistake many make is believing that words are just tools to communicate ideas, but in reality, words are emotional vehicles, carrying feelings from one heart to another, crossing all boundaries, transcending all limitations. How you deliver your message, the rhythm, the intention, the pauses in between, amplifies the emotional power of your words. It's not just about what you say, but how you make the other person feel. When you can infuse a simple sentence with genuine emotion, you create an impact so profound that the person cannot help but replay the conversation in their mind over and over. The human unconscious responds first to emotion, and only then to the meaning of words. That's why we often remember exactly how we felt in a conversation, even if we forget the specifics of what was said. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. When you understand this truth, your communication transforms. You stop seeking to convince, argue, or prove. Instead, you seek to evoke emotion because only when you provoke an emotional response in the other person does your message become unforgettable. Jung taught that emotions are the ink with which memories are written, and once you realize this, every word you speak becomes a brushstroke, leaving an indelible mark on someone's life. The most fascinating thing about emotions is that they cannot be faked. Humans are masters at detecting the authenticity behind words. If you speak from the heart, truly feeling every sentence, the other person will feel it too. And when that happens, emotional distance evaporates and a deep, unbreakable bond is born. This bond is what makes someone remember you during their moments of joy, sorrow, and crucial decisions. Because emotion is the footprint you leave on the soul of the listener. So when you use your words, always ask yourself, what emotion do I want to awaken? Because it's that emotion that will open the doors to the mind and heart of the person. And once those doors are open, the impact of your words will last far beyond the moment you spoke them. Carl Jung understood that language, while a powerful tool, is inherently limited. But emotion is boundless. When your words manage to provoke a deep, genuine emotion, they become unforgettable. They carve themselves into the listener's memory, like a melody that they can't stop playing in their head. In that moment, you've achieved something extraordinary. You've secured a permanent place in their inner world, beyond the constraints of time or reason. It's a place where your words live on, not as mere thoughts, but as an emotional experience that transcends logic. Every time you speak, your words create an echo in the listener's mind. That echo can be a fleeting whisper, fading within seconds, or it can be a powerful resonance that stays with them for years. Jung knew that words that leave a lasting mark follow an almost magical structure, combining emotion, symbolism, and authenticity. These words are not random, they are crafted with intention, designed to reach the core of the human experience. It's not enough to know what to say, you must know how to craft your sentences so that they engrave themselves in memory like invisible tattoos. Words that leave a mark are born when you make the listener feel like they are a part of the story, when you touch their deepest emotions, and when every syllable carries value. That's the essence of impactful communication. The key lies in speaking about what everyone feels, but few dare to say out loud. When you verbalize someone's hidden thoughts, those unspoken truths, they feel as though you've read their mind. That connection is so powerful, so intimate, that it creates an immediate and lasting bond. In that moment, your words become both a mirror, reflecting their true self, and a guide, helping them navigate their inner world. This is when you stop being just another person in their life and become an emotional and mental reference, someone they turn to in times of need. Jung said that ideas born from the collective unconscious are the hardest to forget, because they don't just enter your mind, they resonate with something deeper. They are recognized, not merely heard. One of the most powerful tools for leaving a mark is the use of metaphors. A well-crafted metaphor does more than decorate a message, it transforms it into a sensory experience. Metaphors act as invisible bridges, connecting logic to emotion, thought to imagery. When you use metaphors that reflect universal truths, your message amplifies and embeds itself deeply in the listener's mind. Jung was keenly aware of this, using metaphors in his writings and lectures to convey more than 1,000 arguments could ever achieve. This is the essence of enduring communication. Moreover, words that leave a lasting mark are the ones that awaken questions, not just provide answers. When you spark introspection in someone, when you make them question themselves, your words plant seeds that will grow and flourish over time. Jung said, true change doesn't occur when someone tells you what to think. It happens when you think something new for yourself. That's why the phrases that spark introspection are the ones that replay in people's minds, day after day, long after the conversation ends. Simplicity was another core principle Jung valued deeply. The simpler and clearer a message is, the more power it holds in the mind. Long, complicated sentences may be forgotten, but short, meaningful words resonate like invisible mantras. Words that mark a life are often simple. You can do it. I believe in you. You are enough. Behind these simple words lies an entire universe of emotions, a universe that the mind embraces and turns into truth. Jung understood that it is not the complexity of language that creates lasting change, but the emotional clarity with which we express ourselves. By mastering this emotional simplicity, your words have the power to transcend time, to stay with the listener long after the conversation has ended. If you want someone to be unable to get you out of their mind, the key is to simplify the message, but amplify the emotion behind it. Words are powerful, but they only become unforgettable when they come from a place of deep authenticity. You can use the most effective techniques, the most potent archetypes, and the most beautiful metaphors. But if you don't speak from your heart, if your words aren't an honest reflection of your true self, the listener's mind will shut down. Authenticity is the secret password that opens the doors to someone's unconscious. Without it, all the clever strategies and captivating stories in the world will fall flat. Jung understood that the deepest connections are forged when we show ourselves as we truly are, without the masks or scripts that we often use to hide our vulnerability. The words that stay with people are the ones that come from a genuine place, an honest extension of your essence and experience. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about sharing who you are fully and completely. When your words are real, they create a resonance that goes beyond the surface, leaving a lasting mark on the other person's soul. It's important to realize that words aren't just fleeting sounds that vanish into the air. They are seeds, and if those seeds are planted well, they'll continue to grow, even when you're no longer present. Every conversation is a chance to make a lasting impact, to leave a mark on someone's mind and heart. When you begin to see the power behind every word you speak, you stop communicating out of habit and start speaking with intention. This is when you become unforgettable, because your voice won't just echo in their ears, it will become a silent, constant presence in their thoughts. For Carl Jung, the path to becoming unforgettable wasn't found in self-help books or social manipulation techniques. It was rooted in understanding the invisible laws that govern the human mind. The first key in that formula is emotional authenticity. When you speak from your truth, people can feel it. They know that your words aren't a disguise or a performance. They're a genuine reflection of who you are, and that authenticity creates a frequency that resonates directly with the listener's unconscious. This connection ensures that, even when you're not around, your presence lingers in their memories, touching them in ways they might not even realize. The second key Jung observed is the use of symbols and archetypes. These are universal images that carry deep, emotional meaning and automatically trigger powerful thoughts and feelings. You don't have to explain them. They're felt instinctively by everyone, regardless of culture or background. When you incorporate archetypes into your speech, you activate emotions, desires, and memories that the listener may not have been consciously aware of. These symbols are like ancient keys that unlock the deepest parts of the soul, making the listener connect with you on a level that's almost primal. That's the secret behind phrases that never fade. The third ingredient is vulnerability. In a world that worships perfection and control, showing vulnerability is an act of courage and authentic connection. Jung taught that the shadow, the part of ourselves we often hide out of fear of judgment, is also the source of our most human power. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you share not only your strengths, but also your fears, failures, and lessons learned, you create a bond so deep that the listener feels they've found someone real, someone who understands them. This emotional sincerity creates a connection built on trust, and trust is what leaves the most lasting mark. When you show others that you're willing to be vulnerable, you invite them to do the same, and that's where true, unforgettable connections are made. The fourth key to unforgettable communication is the intention behind each word. When you speak with a genuine desire to add value to someone's life, to light their path, to leave them in a better place than before they heard you, your words take on a magical strength. There is an energy in your intention that is felt even before you finish speaking. This sincerity becomes an invisible bridge that spans the gap between two souls, creating an emotional connection that lasts far beyond the conversation. Jung taught that anything not communicated from the heart lacks vital energy and is quickly forgotten. Without true intention, words become hollow. But when you speak from a place of authentic purpose, your words gain the power to leave an indelible mark on the other person's heart and mind. The fifth step is emotional repetition. The most powerful ideas aren't just repeated over and over, they become an emotional echo that reappears in different situations, activating deeper emotions each time they are heard. When you can make someone associate your words with significant, meaningful moments, the repetition strengthens the bond between you. Your words become tied to their memories, ensuring that you remain in their thoughts, no matter how much time passes. Jung understood that human memory is not just a collection of facts, it's an emotional map. Words, when connected to deep emotional experiences, become markers on that map, guiding and shaping their journey long after the conversation ends. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. The sixth key is presence. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it, how you accompany your words with body language, tone of voice, and energy. When you are truly present in a conversation, when you give the person in front of you your full, undivided attention, they feel seen, heard, and understood. This kind of presence is so rare in our fast-paced world, where distractions are endless, that it becomes a treasure for the recipient. Jung believed that true presence transforms an ordinary conversation into an extraordinary, unforgettable experience. When you give someone your full attention, when you're emotionally and mentally present, it becomes the greatest show of respect and value you can offer. The seventh ingredient is coherence. Your words cannot be empty speeches. No matter how eloquent they may sound, they must align with your actions, your character, and your way of life. When your words and deeds are in harmony, you create credibility so strong that your words become law in the mind of the listener. Jung stated that the human mind instinctively rejects falsehood, accepting only what feels true, what feels coherent. When your words and actions are unified, you leave a mark so firm that it is etched in stone in the listener's mind, unshakable and undeniable. Applying these strategies in your daily life is truly an art form, because it's not just about memorizing clever phrases or repeating formulas, it's about transforming your communication into an authentic channel of connection. The first step in this process is conscious observation. Before you speak, take a moment to pause, to observe the moment, the emotional state of the person in front of you, and your own emotions. Carl Jung wisely said that self-knowledge is the root of all wisdom. When you're aware of your emotions, your words no longer come from a place of impulse or reaction. Instead, they come from clarity, from purpose, and from a deep understanding of the moment. This awareness alone can transform the energy of any conversation. The next step is practicing active empathy. Listening is important, but understanding from the heart is what creates true connection. Even when someone's words don't clearly express their feelings, empathy allows you to tune into their deeper emotions. You need to understand not just their words, but the emotions that lie beneath. When you can do that, you create a space where real communication happens, where true understanding is born, and where the bond between two people becomes unbreakable. This is the foundation of conversations that leave a lasting impact, that transform both people involved. When you truly tune into someone's hidden emotions, your responses aren't just appropriate, they're spot on, precise, and deeply impactful. Carl Jung explained that to truly connect with someone, you must stop seeing them as an object or as something separate from yourself. Instead, you must perceive them as a mirror, a reflection of your own humanity. This is where empathy becomes a powerful tool. It creates an invisible bridge, a connection so deep that your words aren't merely heard with the ears, they are felt with the soul. When you speak from this place of deep understanding, your words transform from casual exchanges into profound experiences that touch the very core of the listener. A key practice in powerful communication is simplifying your messages. The clearer and more direct your language, the more impact your words will have. Jung taught that the unconscious mind doesn't respond to long, drawn-out explanations or complex arguments. It resonates with symbols, with simple truths that pierce through logic and speak directly to the heart. In your daily communication, use short phrases, visual examples, and metaphors that awaken emotions. Remember, the words that change lives the most are not the most elaborate or sophisticated. They are the most human, the ones that touch the listener's essence without detours or unnecessary embellishments. These are the words that leave a mark. Another crucial habit is coherence, ensuring that what you say aligns with what you do. The human mind, even when not consciously aware of it, easily detects incoherence, and when that happens, your words lose their power. Jung famously stated that people remember less about what you say and more about how you make them feel. The true anchor in the memory of those around you is the way your actions support and reinforce your words. If you want your words to leave a lasting impact, make sure your actions reflect your message every single day. A powerful tool for creating that impact is using questions that spark introspection. When you make someone think deeply about their own life or experiences, rather than simply imposing ideas on them, you leave an emotional imprint that can last a lifetime. Jung understood that the best teachings are not the ones that provide all the answers, but those that provoke new questions. If, through your words, you can help someone question themselves, challenge their perspectives, or see their life from a different angle, your words will not just be remembered, they'll inspire real transformation. They'll become the spark for concrete decisions and meaningful actions. It's also important to weave vulnerability into your conversations. When you share your own fears, mistakes, and lessons with honesty and openness, people naturally feel drawn to you. Jung taught that we all wear a social mask to protect ourselves, but true connection can only occur when we dare to take it off. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's humanity. It's the raw, unfiltered truth of who we are. And that humanity is what transforms your words from mere sounds into an emotional refuge. For those who hear you, that kind of connection built on vulnerability is something no one can easily forget. Lastly, practice absolute presence. In a world full of distractions, giving someone your full attention is one of the most powerful gestures you can make. When you are truly present in a conversation, when every ounce of your energy is focused on that person, your words will leave an impression far beyond their conscious memory. Being present doesn't just mean listening. It means feeling every word, every gesture, every silence, as if that moment were the most important one of your day. Jung stated that true wisdom lies in silence and deep observation. When you speak from that place of presence, your words aren't simply heard, they are felt deeply, and everything that's felt is remembered. As we near the end of this journey through the power of words, their impact, and how Carl Jung's teachings can help us leave a permanent mark on the minds of those who hear us, it becomes clear words hold a power we often overlook. They are the tools with which we shape the world around us, and, most importantly, the relationships we build. Through our words, we create connections, convey our deepest emotions, and leave lasting impressions We've explored how a well-spoken phrase can transform not just a fleeting moment, but an entire life. The true power of words lies in their ability to connect with the collective unconscious. As Jung taught, when our words resonate with the shared emotions and archetypes that we all carry within us, they have the potential to touch the deepest parts of the human being. Every time you choose your words with intention, you're creating an opportunity to leave a mark in someone's mind that can last far beyond the conversation itself. However, it's not just about finding the perfect words. The true art of communication lies in being authentic, in conveying our emotions and thoughts with honesty. When you speak from that authentic place, your words become much more than sounds. They become the key to connecting deeply with others and to leaving an unforgettable impact on their hearts and minds. Authenticity is the force that infuses our words with true power. It's what creates a deep, real connection with others and ensures that they will remember what we said, even as time passes. It's not enough to simply focus on what we say. What matters just as much, if not more, is how we say it, and most importantly, how we feel it in our hearts. Words spoken without emotion, without sincerity, lack the depth needed to truly resonate. But when you speak with authenticity, you allow your words to carry weight. They reach beyond the surface, touching people in ways that stay with them, lingering long after the conversation ends. Just as Jung emphasized the importance of introspection and self-exploration, we too must practice deep reflection before we communicate. Words are not just sounds, they are an extension of who we are. The more we understand our own emotions and experiences, the more effectively we can connect with others. Knowing ourselves allows us to speak with greater empathy and clarity, ensuring that we communicate in ways that are meaningful and impactful. This journey of self-knowledge and personal growth is reflected in how we express ourselves, in how we choose our words. As we grow and evolve, so does our ability to communicate more deeply. Through this, we realize that words are not just meant to be memorable, they have the power to be transformative. Vulnerability, empathy, and presence in a conversation are the catalysts that turn simple words into powerful tools for change. Every conversation we have is an opportunity to leave a positive imprint on those around us. It's a chance to help them see themselves from a new perspective, to inspire them to become better versions of themselves. But this can only happen when we speak with intention, the intention to add value, to connect, and to make a difference. When we come from a place of genuine care, our words become seeds planted in the hearts of others. Over time, these seeds will sprout, growing into something much more significant than the words themselves. Carl Jung taught us that the most important thing isn't necessarily what we say, it's what we allow our listeners to feel and experience through our words. When we communicate with true intention, our messages endure not only in the mind, but in the heart of those who hear us. They live on in the emotions and memories we've touched, leaving a lasting, indelible impact. And in this way, our words become a timeless gift that resonates in the hearts of others long after we've spoken them. As we come to the end of this journey into the power of words, I want to ask you, what have you learned so far? How will you use the insights from Carl Jung's teachings to create deeper connections and leave a lasting impact on those around you? I'd love to hear from you. Please, take a moment to comment below and share one thing you've learned today that you plan to bring into your life. How will you apply this knowledge in your next conversation, in the way you communicate with others, or in the way you connect with yourself? And if you found value in this video, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue creating content that can transform lives. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we look forward to sharing more insights with you soon.